I'm Kyle. It's the first time I've done an interview, but I've been inspired by you to do this for a long time, ever since we met in India at our yoga teacher training. So I'll let you kind of just say a couple of things about yourself and then we'll just jump into this.
Okay, let's do that. My name is Eric. I was a regular guy working in the corporations, taking some senior executive roles. But for some reason, I wasn't feeling happy. That was my biggest issue. I had everything almost. So money, power, beautiful life, family, children, everything was great, except I didn't have the, how should I say that? I didn't have the life energy. Last reason, in 2015, I took a radical decision and I quit everything, my job. And I also ended such a beautiful relationship with my ex and started my, soul searching journey. Then my life has shifted. And that was very good actually, because I found my heart. That was most important thing to me, what I did. And I was young enough to change my life, because I know just many of the people always feel this ambition just to change their life, but when they found out it's too late. So, and they ended up continuing whatever they used to live. So what I did, then I start discovering myself, starting from the Tao Tantra practices, just, get the yoga teacher training with you in India, 2017. Also before that, I went to the South America to explore more the psychedelic world, figure it out what's about me. And I realized that I really need to continue to this life. It was the right decision to me, and I'm living a beautiful life right now.
That's amazing. That's really incredible. What a journey you've been on. And it sounds like you were looking for some kind of nourishment that this career that you had just had not led you to it. It was worldly and it gave you material success. Sounds like you had a beautiful relationship, but something in you was still craving for something more, I guess, something beyond all of that. And so it sounds like you went on a search and you found all these different options. And so what was that like? I mean, what a huge critical decision to make, right? You'd been doing this lifestyle for what, 40?
For many years.
For many, many years, yeah. And then all of a sudden, you decide to change that, to end a beautiful relationship. Okay.
I'll tell you the reason. Sorry. I was keeping this annual reviews and I was sharing with the people. I was keeping the records of the year, what I have achieved on that year, what I have did. It started first very personal, just sharing the pictures of the life, places I traveled, what I achieved in my business life. But it turned later more spiritual and more personal development type. So I start looking at my qualities that I need to make it better, and what are the things just I need to improve. And I really just focus on that. And I was sharing it every year with so many people. I had approximately over 1,000 friends. I was emailing them and what I failed on this year, what I have achieved. Very open-hearted, very true. And in 2014, I remember what I wrote at the end. I think that was the reason I changed my life. It took me to the right route. What I wrote was, from now on, I'm going to make all critical decisions in my life with my heart. As soon as I said that, really, just 2015 was like a roller coaster, I would say.
Wow, that must have taken a lot of courage.
To give up a marriage almost 20 years,
wow.
That's the one thing. To give up all the benefits being in a corporate life, so many things. But if they are all material.
Absolutely. If you were to speak to people who were I guess, going through a process of their own awakening, right? Their own spiritual development. And they reach this crossroads where they are wanting to step into this kind of power, which it sounds like you did, and transformation. How would you tell that? How did that courage come about? I mean, it must have been hard to do that. And what do you think gave you that courage to trust your heart and follow the
Mhm.
direction of it?
I believe everybody has experiencing that state in their lives. It comes mid-30s when you start questioning your life, when you start asking questions, why I'm here, what I'm gonna do, what's my objective of this life, what should I expect from this life? But what happens? Most people are tied up with a relationship. Just you are at the beginning of a marriage, you are raising the kids, you are or at the beginning of your career, or you are just taking the steps up. I think everybody is experiencing this at
Mm.
certain ages of their life, no exception. If you look at for example, all the prophets, all the gurus, if you look at them, the age 30, 35, they start discovering this. Look at the Jesus, look at the Muhammad and the others. Even the Buddha, just if you look at his story, so he's living in the beautiful life. Then later he gives up everything and just goes away from his
Wow.
comfortable life. We will get this opportunity, but it is our choice, our free will, whether we want to take that path or not.
So it sounds like we're kind of led to that path by life around this sort of age when we're questioning. We're reaching an age of looking beyond just our immediate situation. Unfortunately, however, a lot of us, that's when we're like developing a family, we have close connections and ties to someone we've chosen to be with. And so all of that can complicate it and make it that much harder to listen to our hearts, because we're kind of thinking, and we have to be in this analytical state, which you said, to be able to, I guess, or what we think we need to do.
And I did that. I did the same. My early 30s, I start feeling this need, this desire to do something. But, I was beginning of my marriage. I had two kids. So
Yeah.
it wasn't easy. And just, the career was going so good. The corporate life was amazing.
Yeah.
So I didn't give up. I couldn't.
Circumstance didn't make sense for you at that time, and it felt like.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
suggests to me, thinking to when you make the decision to jump, right, that there was perhaps some discomfort in that. So it took courage, but perhaps also discomfort. So perhaps you could speak to that and what that transition was like, and how that discomfort and the courage came about, and how you dealt with that.
I think it didn't. What happened to me is, the term as leap of faith. So
Mm.
it happened to me that way. So I was so certain that it's going to be incredible. I never had any question mark. It was a blunt move at the end. If you look at it, it was very blunt, actually.
That's really interesting. I think what I hear in that is, you need to have that trust that you don't know what's going to happen, but that it's going to be something amazing. So for me, right, I'm 31.
Yeah.
Like when I hear you talk about this, I get kind of excited because I'm like,
Yes,
you
the
know,
time is coming.
yeah, exactly. And I feel like I'm in this place where I just finished grad school. There's lots of potential for what I'm going to do next. Being a healer myself, I think about what will be the next step. And listening to you, I kind of have this sense that if you trust the process and have that leap of faith, then, as you say, it can be amazing. When you reached that point and you started to go in that direction, right? And you started to find these different teachings. What was that like? What was that process, and how did that happen?
I'll tell you about that. So first of all, the mind will always interfere. If you do not really attach to that knowledge deep in you, the mind will always interfere and start just, asking questions. Is it right? Are you sure that this is going to work? Do you think that you will maintain financially? All these questions, all these doubts will come. You need to be aware of that. So I start just reading books, give my interest to different topics. I was reading the book of this guy, I think, Mantak Chia, Multi-Orgasmic Man. I think that's how it started. I started reading the book and doing the self practices.
Yeah.
And I said, you know, I need to go and find this guy and learn it in person. What is he talking about? And found out that he's having a seminar with Charles Muir. He's a tantra teacher, a famous tantra teacher in States.
Mm.
And both of these guys were giving a program for 11 days. So I said, maybe that's the thing. I registered to the program, and the rest happened with synchronicity. I met another person there, so I really went with the flow from the rest of it.
Yeah.
And one took me to another place, one took me more deeper understanding of certain knowledge, certain practice, and
Yeah.
it went through that way. And people always came. The right people always came in front of me and just opened the doors, showing me the paths. I really didn't do much actually. Everything happened so naturally.
So it sounds like there was this flow. It was a very natural
Yeah.
process, and you were opportunistic as well, in terms of you would show up at a program and then you would meet someone and you would let that guide you to where you would go next.